shooting star. The engines roar, the tires scream, fast as lightning, it's the dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, our only friend. Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, our only friend. And now Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, our only friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter scene, in the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be, join the race, watch and see.
Unheard the engines roar. SKR, it's time to soar. Dreams ignite, the pressure's high. We race the edge, we touch the sky. Tires burn, the world's a blur. Victory calls, but it's unsure. Sundays at 6, where the league begins. Oh yeah, highs and lows, where we chase all wins. Through the curves, through the fight, SKR, we own the night. The night. Rain comes down, the track turns wild. Split second moves, adrenaline's child. Podium dreams, they come and go. Fast and fierce, it's all we know. Yellow flow flags, heartbreaks near, but we push on, we have no fear. Sundays at 6, where the league begins. Oh yeah, highs and lows, where we chase all wins. Through the curves, through the fight, SKR, we own the night. We own the night. The night. We own the night. Ooh, right. The night. Rain comes down, the track turns wild. Split second moves, adrenaline's child. Podium dreams, they come and go. Fast and fierce, it's all we know. Yellow flow flags, heartbreaks near, but we push on, we have no fear. Sundays at 6, where the league begins. Oh yeah, highs and lows, where we chase all wins. Through the curves, through the fight, SKR, we own the night. 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 The Sundays at 6, the engines ignite. SKR League under stadium lights. Rubber burns, the tarmac's a canvas. Twists and turns where the brave find madness. Throttle pinned, the needle don't lie. Chasing the horizon, kissing the sky. Podium dreams, champagne in the mist. But crash in the gravel, that's the devil's twist. Checkered flag or shattered hope. Grip the wheel and learn to cope. SKR, where legends collide. Fast lanes, heartbreaks, no place to hide. From pole to pit, we're chasing the stars. It's glory or guts in the SKR. Drafting shadows, the apex calls. One mistake and the whole dream stalls. Pit stop prayers, tires slick with wear. Crew hands steady, precision in the air. Highs like Monaco, lows like Monterey. Speed's a religion, the track's our domain. Six-gear symphony, engines that scream. But glory's a gamble, it's never serene. Checkered flag or shattered hope. Grip the wheel and learn to cope. SKR, where legends collide. Fast lanes, heartbreaks, no place to hide. From pole to pit, we're chasing the stars. It's glory or guts in the SKR. Drafting shadows, the apex calls. One mistake and the whole dream stalls. Pit stop prayers, tires slick with wear. Crew hands steady, precision in the air. Highs like Monaco, lows like Monterey. Speed's a religion, the track's our domain. Six-gear symphony, engines that scream. But glory's a gamble, it's never serene. SKR, where legends collide. Fast lanes, heartbreaks, no place to hide. From pole to pit, we're chasing the stars. It's glory or guts in the SKR. Haunting shadows, the apex calls. One mistake and the whole dream stalls. Pit stop prayers, tires slick with wear. Crew hands steady, precision in the air. Highs like Monaco, lows like Monterey. Speed's a religion, the track's our domain. Six-gear symphony, engines that scream. But glory's a gamble, it's never serene. Checkered flag or shattered hope. Grip the wheel and learn to cope.
Under neon lights and engine screams, she's the guardian of our speed-filled dreams. With skull in flight and alien on the chase, she's the calm in the storm, our guiding grace. Andre by her side, loyal and strong, their love's been racing all along.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to NFR, welcome back to SKR. And you're hearing from me a little earlier this time. We have something new we'd like to introduce to the channel. So for tonight, for the first time, I want you all to get out your pens and notebooks and learn some very valuable information. This is the Apex Hot Lap.
Welcome to a lap of Bahrain. Coming out of the final corner, we're going to be in third gear. It's highly important that you get to full throttle as quick as you can, and then turning on the battery once you get to sixth gear, and then we burn the battery down to 80 or 75%. You can use the inside line, however for this one we'll stay on the racing line. Coming into turn 1, you want to be aiming for the 100 meter board. Ideally though, we want to be braking 110 meters, so just before the board itself. We can use a little bit of the inside curb as well, as on this year's game it doesn't unsettle the car like last year. So as we brake, we go down to second gear to build up the speed coming out of gear. We keep it nice and tight, ensure we stay to full throttle as much as we can, cut the inside curb, then we start building up the speeds again, going down to 60% on the battery. Coming into turn 4, we're going to be using as much of the track as possible. We'll be braking at the 100 meter board. As we get there is where you want to be aiming to get on the brakes. Gearing down into third gear to get on the power again to build up the speed. You can go fourth gear, but it's very important we use as much of that exit as we can. Coming into the S section, what we want to do is we want to aim for this curb right in front of us. It's important that we can use as much of the track width as we can and get our car placed as much over this curb as humanly possible. The reason being is this is our turning point for the next corner. As we hit this curb is when we want to start turning the car in, and we will turn in quite sharply as well. We want to ensure that we keep it as flat as possible with the throttle usage, and also try stay in 6th gear. If you do use 5th gear, try not to go below 80% on the throttle, as this corner can really gain you a lot of time the closer you can keep it to 100% on the gas. Ensure that you can take as much of this curb and as much of this curb as well. Coming into this corner, we want to ensure that we get up to the outside curb as much as possible. There's no real reference for braking, however this dark blue patch you can kind of use as a braking reference, either as you just get to it or slightly just before it is when you can start braking. Going down into 2nd gear again to build up the speed. Ensure you aim for the outside curb, get onto power as quick as possible, burning the battery down to 56%. Coming into this corner, again there's no real reference. However, you want to ensure that you use as much of the outside curb as you can. This helps just rotate the car a little better around the corner. We'll be using 2nd gear, coming out of here. Ensure you run out wide to build up the speed. And then as you come on the straight, you can start gradually drifting towards the outside, using as much of the curb as possible. Coming into this corner, we want to be braking about just before the 50-meter board. You can use this a very saturated blue curb on the outside as a reference, because we ideally want to be aiming for 55 meters. Going down to 4th gear, you can use 5th. We use a little bit of battery to build up the speed. Ensure that you keep it very smooth on the steering wheel. Use a little bit of the inside curb. Coming into this corner, again there's no real reference, however we can use the DLH board to our right. Ideally as you come up to that board or as it's about to leave your screen is about where you want to start braking. Going down to 4th gear, using the inside curb and getting on throttle as soon as we can. Keep it straight, we don't need to go off the curb there as that bump isn't as aggressive as previous years. We burn the battery down to 20%. Coming into the final corner of the lap, we can brake at the 100-meter board, however ideally you want to start braking as the DLH board above your head leaves your screen, or in other words as your front tires pass the 100-meter board is ideally where you want to brake. Ensure that you use as much of the outside curb as you can. This just opens up the final corner for us so we can carry more speed to the line. If we take this corner in 3rd gear, you can use 4th, but it's very important that you get to full throttle as quick as possible and dump your battery to the line, and that is a lap around Bahrain. And if you are interested in setups or strategies, please do use the link below.
And that's just 30 seconds left in the session. Fantastic, you've got pole position.
Let's go. Nice one.
Monaco streets, Silverstone rain. He turns the chaos into his gain. A lion's soul, a warrior's creed. Speed's his drug, it's all he needs. They build the walls, he breaks them down. Three-time king still wears the crown. Max Verstappen, king of the fight, burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with the mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more. So raise the flag, let the anthem play. Max the Maverick rules the day. Through grit and guile, he's here to stay. A racing god in every way. Are you crazy?
Turn on the street, it's NFR. Feel the rush like a shooting star. The engines roar, the tires scream. Fast as lightning, it's a dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR. The rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far. Where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Like Fernando calls the play on NFR. Every race day, commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far. Where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Not Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far. Where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf queen, the top supporter scene. In the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see.
Under the light, the engines roar. SKR, it's time to soar. Trains ignite, but pressure's high. We race the edge, we touch the sky. Tires burn, the world's a blur. Victory calls, but it's unsure. Sundays at 6, where the league begins. Oh yeah, highs and lows, where we chase all wins. Through the curves, through the fight, SKR, we own the night. The night. Rain comes down, the track turns wild. Split-second moves, adrenaline's child. Podium dreams, they come and go. Fast and fierce, it's all we know. Yellow flow flags, heart breaks near, but we push on, we have no fear. Sundays at 6, where the league begins. Oh yeah, highs and lows, where we chase all wins. Through the
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. Welcome back to SKR on a Sunday night. If you're up in Joburg, well, it's a rainy Sunday night. None of these drivers will be hoping for rain, and I doubt they're going to get any, because we're in the desert. At 10-2, we did show you the Apex hot lap. You all enjoyed that. Hope you all had your pen and paper out to learn from some of the best. Of course, no Formula 1 Grand Prix earlier on this afternoon, so this is going to have to be your fix. Of course, if you're a MotoGP fan, well, you would have been up bright and early this morning. 7 a.m. Japanese Grand Prix. Marc Marquez securing his 7th world title. I know a few other names with 7 world titles. Already a few drivers out on circuit, as you can see there on the left hand side. 17 drivers competing tonight. We might still see 1 or 2 squeeze in before the race. We have seen that in the past. If I'm not mistaken, Bahrain was the first of the Middle Eastern circuits. I think it was the first time we went to the Middle East was for Bahrain. Of course, since then, this part of the world has become a lot more popular. When it comes to F1, we visit Saudi, Bahrain, also visit Qatar. Of course, rumours of a Grand Prix in Dubai continue. Of course, we can forget we end the season in the Middle East as well, Abu Dhabi. Go down to Virus. He is a driver on a quick lap, I believe. Get our first look at the pace this evening for some of the drivers competing here tonight. Big T needs no introduction. He's the one that gave you that hot lap prior to qualifying beginning. Of course, that little video is now locked into the NFR archive, so you can always go back to this race, go back and look for that video. Great coaching from the guys at Apex. And for next week, I'll make sure to have a link to Apex and in the comment section so that all of you can contact them over there. And I assure you, they're gonna find you. They're gonna find you sometime. Setting the track purple. It is the man who set the hot lap. Big T, currently no lap time yet. Skull, the first man over the line. He sets a 1 minute 28.7. And quicker, 28.6 for Virus. Goes a 10th quicker. Another time coming in, 29.7 for Andre. Just 500ths away from Skull. Look at that, Sugar Bear over the line. Best lap yet, 26.0. Is that a 28.0 rather? I think almost gave everyone in the field a heart attack. See what Big T can come up with. I believe this is the final corner. Yes, it is. Final corner onto that straight. He's going to open up DRS, give it everything he's got. Look at that, just 3% on the battery. That is perfect battery management, getting to the line with absolutely nothing in the tank. Maximizing 27,4. And there is your benchmark to the rest of the field. Bikes goes over the line, 27.9. Second driver of the night to see the 27s. Weiss did go over the line in the second. Red Bull didn't quite see the 27s, 28.0. Another 28.0 for the man in P4. That's Sugar Bear for Ferrari, the only Ferrari in the lineup tonight. Then you got Skulk P5, Winter Schloer P6, Virus P7, Skull P8, Smurf P9. and Harsh Cartoon makes up the top 10. Still 3 drivers yet to set a lap time. We have Jonas, he is on an outlap in the Alpine. We have Lebby, also no lap, he is on a quick lap, looking for that first time. And this is going to take a while. What is the name of the driver in P15? Is it Percival? I don't know. Well, the clerk's second name is Percival, so we'll just go with that for the time being. His second name is actually Lord Percival. Welcome to everyone in the chat. I see quite a few of you around. Captain Slow, Russian, Death Queen, Anita has just joined. Welcome to Anita. I have Ubuntu in the chat. What are you watching? But the comment section awfully quiet, so I wonder if a lot of these are drivers listening in the background. Is the Williams of Skull. Just 3 cars yet to do their laps. The one I will call Percival until I'm corrected. Lebby also in the pits, no lap. He was out on track, which means he probably invalidated that time. Welcome to Dixie Killer also now joining the chat. Good to have everybody here tonight for round 2 of SKR. Of course, a week ago we were at a very different race circuit. We were at Baku. Tonight, a much more open layout. This is a driver currently at the rear of the field that belongs towards the top of the field. Jonas, driver in P17 at the moment, yet to set a lap time. We're waiting for that first lap time from the Alpine driver, see where it puts him in the mix. Just over 10 minutes remaining in the session. As things stand, Red Bull and McLaren cover that front row. And not anymore. 27.3 goes a tenth better than Big T, and Jonas goes into provisional pole. 27.3. The challenge has been thrown down. This is Skull looking for something better. Current best 28.4, but he's going about his usual strategy of doing several laps on the same set of tires, just getting himself into tune with the circuit, getting himself into a flow. Different drivers approach qualifying very differently. Some use it as a way of working their way into the evening. Others, it's fast lap, fast lap, fast lap. It is a 5.4 kilometer circuit and also the only circuit, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on the calendar to have 4 FIA Grade 1 layouts. It means any 4 of Bahrain's layouts could be used for F1. Of course, there is the shortened circuit. Then there is also the Bahrain Endurance Circuit, which was used by F1 only once. Turned out to be a terribly boring race and went back to the original layout. The third one is the layout you're looking at. And the fourth one, well, we did it once in that crazy year known as 2020. It's the Bahrain Outer Loop. The race George Russell almost won for Mercedes on debut. Mercedes got a few things wrong that night. Skull into the pits. Jonas, he has returned to the pits with that 27.3. That has sent all of the quick drivers back out on circuit. Say that's not enough. You're going to have to go find a little more. Currently 27.3, the quickest time. Second best, 27.4. Third best, 27.5. 3/10 cover the top three. And a further 4/10 back, best of the rest. Spikes, followed by Sugar Bear, just a 10th down the road, then another 10th down the road. Winter slower, these guys just going 10th by 10th by 10th. Skulk, P7, Virus, P8, and all of them just separated by a 10th all the way down to P9. Incredibly close midfield, and it's incredibly tough on the drivers. Means just one simple mistake, slightly off your best, 2-3 off your best, could mean you're starting in a very unfavorable position. So, as we've seen many times on this channel, qualifying is not the end all. Might find yourself in a race where after turn 1, qualifying means very little. I don't expect too much action in the way of safety cars around Bahrain. Yes, we may get 1 or 2, but I don't think we'll see anything crazy. Of course, the circuit has a lot of runoff area. No real reason for the drivers to be driving into each other. One of the wider circuits on the calendar as well. Of course, this was the second circuit when Herman Tilke started his reign of being the only F1 circuit designer. Seems like all circuits come from Herman Tilke these days. This was the second. First one coming from Herman Tilke was the famous Sepang circuit in Malaysia. In fact, it's the third. The second one was in Sepang. And then the third one, well, you're looking at it. Looking at Spikes, not sure what livery this is. Not the livery I'm used to. Maybe I got too used to seeing the chrome livery. Let's see what livery Virus is running. Well, we can't see what Virus is running because he remains in the pits. I wonder if that was him going over some polystyrene or if that was just the game giving us some fake data. Very possibly the second of those options. We watch Spikes as he goes up that back straight around the final corner. Harsh Cartoon has retired from the session. Either that was an incident or he's just called it a day. See, thought he was getting as close as he could to the pit wall, but that's not the case. Spikes returns to the pits. 27.6 remains his best. Currently P4. Driver on an outlap looking to improve is Wheeze. His teammates just gone over the line and improved. Jonas would have been really chuffed with the 27.3. Well, now he's had the wind knocked out of him. Big T, 26. Is that 999? I think that's 999. Barely in the 26s, but it has to count. Now we go to the second Red Bull, this time the Red Bull of Wheeze, and immediately jumps off the throttle. No confusion there, he's on an outlap. You can see the battery's all charged up, getting ready to go. His target is his teammate. Slowly up the straight, he's either charging up everything or he's waiting for me to get off board. Here we go. Wheeze over the line to start his quick lap. 3.5 minutes remaining in the session. This could be his final attempt for the evening. A lot of cars in the pits. Just got Sugar Bear, Pantry Star and Wheeze currently out on circuit. Smurf as well, but he's on an outlap. First of all, the last of those cars to not have done a lap has since done a lap. 29.5, good enough for P17 at the moment. you're riding on board, or you were riding on board with the man in P3. That is Wheeze, currently on provisional pole, is his teammate. Have a look, where is Wheeze? Wheeze remains in the pits. Does he have any time to come out and try one more? And well, that's not the direction of the circuit. Wheeze finds himself down. I was going to say an escape road, but that's not an escape road. It's Sugar Bear, the one and only Ferrari here this evening. Scuderia having some sort of budget cuts, only bringing one car to the Grand Prix. Don't know how many of you followed Max Verstappen's race yesterday. Of course, there was no Formula 1 yesterday, but Max Verstappen wasn't taking the weekend off. He competed in the 4 hours of the Nürburgring. Started in P3 for his debut GT3 race. And well, even if you hadn't watched it, I don't think I'm going to surprise you by saying, started in P3. He led the race after turn 1, never looked back, and at one stage led the field by over a minute. After his 2-hour spell, handed over the drive to his co-driver, who did lose a bit of time, but still went on to win the race, I think by 25 seconds. So Max Verstappen winning on debut, with his ultimate goal of doing that very same circuit next year. Not just the 4-hour, 24-hour Nürburgring. Of course, that was a Ferrari GT3 car. So, if you want to get real technical about it, Max Verstappen got a Ferrari win before Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc in 2025. Apologies if you can hear that in the background. That's just some very angry thunder roaring in the background. Fortunately not for the drivers on circuit. Although if it did start raining, they wouldn't be able to see it coming because the sky above them is dark. Might think, why is he talking about rain in the desert? It'll never happen. Well, it shouldn't happen, but I have seen it. We have had wet races in Qatar on more than one occasion. Don't think I've seen one in Bahrain. This is the quickest driver on circuit at the moment. And it looks like it's going to stay that way unless somebody's able to work some magic. Jonas P2, Wheeze P3. This is the man we're riding with, the man currently on provisional pole. Does he have more time in him? And if so, how much more? That's a 26,999. I didn't think we'd see a 26 by the end of the evening. He's out again, and that suggests he knows he's got a little more. Nita asking if there's any truth. Piastri going to Ferrari in 2026. Well, I'm going to have to look that up. I'm usually very well rehearsed on my F1 trivia, but I have not yet heard that one. That is new to me. 2026, Oscar Piastri Ferrari. I'm going to have to look that up after the race. Many drivers have tried at Ferrari and have failed at Ferrari. I believe Charles Leclerc has a contract until the end of 2027 or 2028. That is a very long-term contract. If that is to enter, definitely not next year. I think if Piastri was to make a McLaren move, it would probably only be in 2027. Once they've had a look at what the 2026 cars are capable of. Obviously there's going to be a big regulation change at the end of this year. And the cars might come out looking a little different next year. You might have a situation where McLaren get it right and dominate the season, or McLaren get it horribly wrong, and they're right at the back like they used to be when they had Honda engines. So I think a lot of the drivers are going to wait to see where the teams are and where the cars are in 2026. Ian saying his wings not ideal for qualifying. If you're wondering what that means, well, more wings, more downforce, less wings, less downforce. You want a little bit more stability in the race. You want less when you're looking for one lap pace. Big T takes pole position with a 26.857, so he did improve. Jonas B2, followed by Wheeze, Spike, Sugar Bear, Winter Schloer. Then we got Skulk, Pantry Star, Virus, and Skull making up the top 10. I didn't mute, so you're going to hear all the clicks. Smurf P11, Cooper P12, Levy 13. Then you got Andre P14, Harsh Cartoon, Top Gun, and the one I will continue to call Percival. Welcome back again. Now we're getting ready for the race. Of course, qualifying, the fun and games of qualifying have come to an end. Oh, I've just realized I've got the wrong screen up. Will you look at that? It says SAFRL. That's not good. That's not good. There we go. Fixed it. Of course, all the cars will be to the left-hand side of your screen. They'll be doing their final preparations for the race. Yeah, I'm saying that his wings weren't ideal for quali, and we're saying he's still nursing a few force feedback issues. So both of the Red Bulls extremely quick, starting in P1, starting in P3, but both of them starting with a few technical niggles. Of course, as mentioned, everybody there to the left-hand side of your screen, they're going to be doing things like deciding what tire to start on. How deep into the race do you intend to go? And of course, what's going to happen in those opening laps? Are you banking on an early safety car? Are you going to take the first roll of the dice right here on the start-finish line? Just don't know if this is the racetrack where you should expect safety cars. Because in Bahrain, sometimes they just never arrive. Of course, when we do get going, we'll have a formation lap first off. Give all of the drivers one opportunity to feel their car at full weight. Of course, that's not what the car feels like in qualifying. The car's nimble, the car's aggressive, the car's light. But when it comes to the race, yes, it's a Formula 1 car. Yes, it's extremely quick. But F1 drivers will tell you that for the first few laps, it feels like a tractor. Of course, earlier this year, Oscar Piastri took the full deal at this circuit. Pole position, fastest lap, race win. But if I'm not mistaken, that is not a Grand Slam. I believe a Grand Slam is pole position, fastest lap, race win, and also lead every single lap of the race. I believe Max Verstappen did one of those not so long ago. You see the dual green lights there in the background. All the cars getting underway for their formation lap. Their preparatory lap, if you want to call it that. Some drivers will be weaving around, trying to get some brake temperature into the brakes, into the tires, get those temperatures up, get the car ready for turn one. Maybe if you're at the rear of the field, you're not too worried about turn one. You're just worried about driving around any potential mayhem. But if you're one of the quicker drivers at the front, You'll be on this formation lap, but your mind will already be on turn 1. Bahrain's been on the calendar now almost as long as Fernando Alonso. I say almost, because not quite. Bahrain made its first appearance on the F1 calendar in 2004, and well, Fernando Alonso made his first appearance back in 2001. Of course, we know Fernando Alonso will remain in F1 next year. We don't know much beyond that. We do know that at the end of 2026, that means Fernando Alonso will have spent a quarter of a century racing in motorsport's greatest crown. We wait now for the drivers to all get parked up. Driver there in the lead, he's going to be wondering what's the driver at the back doing. This is taking forever, but we're going to get going soon. Watch the lights. They're going to come on one by one, and when there's 5 of them, there'll be a pause. And when they go off, we get underway. Red Bull versus Alpine into turn 1. Who gets the better start? What does the second Red Bull do? The second Red Bull's lost a position. Spikes up into P2. Madness into turn 1. Who's going to come out on top of this? Looks like the McLaren does have the nose in front. Yes, he does. Fantastic start from Spikes up into P2. An Alpine in P3. Bobbing and weaving. This is not a good case scenario. If Big T is at the front, the last thing you want to do is let him run away at the front. But Spikes saw in round 1. Incredibly quick driver in his own right. And if he's able to stay within DRS, he can stay with the best of them. 29 laps in this race. It's a long one. You can see the Alpine there just weaving around as if it was a formation lap. It's not. That just suggests to me that the driver's not quite happy with the tyre temperatures just yet. I'll bring up those tyre screens for you in a moment. Majority of the drivers going for the medium compound as their starting tyre. Your leader, Big T, as well as his teammate Wheeze and Jonas. So the 3 probably favourites for the race. All started on the hard tyre. A few drivers at the back also on the hard. Smurf, Virus and Harsh Cartoon. And then Top Gun and Percival doing something completely different. They started on the soft, obviously hoping to make up some ground from the rear of the field. Spikes all over the back of the Red Bull, pushing. Usually I say keep applying the pressure and eventually the driver ahead will make a mistake, but that's not the case when you're dealing with Big T. You've got to apply the pressure, and if an opportunity presents itself, you need to take it, because if you're waiting for a full-blown mistake, it's a very good chance you're just going to look at the rear of that Red Bull for the remainder of the race. Further down, Wheeze started in P3, lost the position. Spikes initially got past him. Then Winterschloer, P5. First of the 2 RBs, the other one down in P15 out of the points. Then you got Skulk in the only Williams here this evening. Pantry Star, first of the 2 kicked Salbers, Levy P8. And Sugar Bear, the only Scuderia flag here this evening. Jonas sets the fastest lap of the race with a 32.2. That's the driver currently in P3. At the moment, Drivers still very close together on lap 3. We haven't had any stoppages in the race. Everything's gone according to plan. We don't see anybody way off in the distance at the back, so that's, I guess, we haven't had any early pit stop. Come on, Wheeze, says the comment section. Wheeze currently, that's the driver in P4. You're looking at him now. Just to get himself up the order so he can go and challenge his teammate, but before he can do that, he's got Jonas ahead of him. Extremely talented driver in his own right. And then Spikes, the driver that for me has been coming up the ranks quietly coming up the ranks. All of a sudden, he's definitely a name to watch, even among the quickest in the field. Percival, I believe this is his debut, otherwise I just don't remember commentating on him. It is his debut. He'll be looking just to get to the end of the race, pick up some points possibly. Qualifying didn't go according to plan at the start in P17. He's maintained that P17 and he stayed close to the back of Harsh Cartoon. Big T still out front, but it is by no means a comfortable lead. He hasn't been able to shake off his opponent. He hasn't been able to open up any sort of lead. 2.5 tenths is the gap between Big T and Spikes. Then a further 4 tenths back, you'll find Jonas, and 4 tenths after that, Wheeze. The top 4 now starting to slip away from the rest of the field. Winterschloer in P5, and he's got a heck of a DRS train behind him as well. Causing a bit of a queue is the RB. And at the end of that DRS train, you get another 3.5 second gap, and then you'll find Skull, who has a DRS train of his own behind him. Field starting to spread out. And if this is going to be a race of no safety cars, well, you can expect those gaps to keep growing and look terribly big by the end of the race. Lots of you watching, lots of you liking the video. Appreciate each and every single one of you. Thanks for joining the stream. And of course, on behalf of the drivers, that's why you're here. You're not here to listen to me. You're here to support the drivers. Thanks from me and everybody at SKR. Big T still out front, but look at the madness behind him. The McLaren was thinking about it, but wasn't quite close enough. And in the mirrors, he was looking at Alpine, bobbing, weaving, going left, going right. And he's thinking, what do I do? Do I attack the Red Bull ahead? Do I defend from the Alpine behind? You have to make a decision. Can't be both. That will usually end in a collision. And for now, Spikes has to remain behind the Red Bull, because he'd like to attack. Got to keep his eyes on the Alpine behind him. And then just behind that Alpine, well, there's another Red Bull. Alpine again, going offline. Not sure if he's just trying to get some heat into his tires or if he's just trying to break the slipstream. Skulk, the man in P6. Spoke about Winterschloer just a lap ago. He had a bit of a queue forming behind him, and that is a queue. Look at that. It's the RB, followed by a Williams, then a Kick-Sauber, followed by an Aston Martin, followed by a Red Bull. And they're all within about a second and a half of each other. Very close stuff in the midfield, and even closer stuff at the front. These 4 continue. Wheeze now had a look up the inside ever so briefly, just showed the Alpine his nose, let him know he's there. Trust me, he knows he's there, but drivers feel the need to remind each other. Difficult to apply the pressure keep on using that term, apply the pressure, but how do you apply the pressure when you too are under extreme pressure? That's what's happening here to everybody in the top four. Big T might be out front managing his pace. We don't know what he's doing or if everybody's able to hold on to him. But for the time being, these four matching each other lap after lap, and Big T not doing enough to break DRS. He's being told, pick up the pace. Not sure how he's going to feel about that. That's like the mechanic coming on the radio and saying, we're going to need you to lap a little faster. What do you think I'm doing? Doubt he's out there on a Sunday drive, I assure you of that. No racing driver accepts fourth or third or second. And now there is a switch. There is a switch at the front. Or there was a switch at the front. Now it's going to be who gets the exit better. It's Alpine versus McLaren. Jonas looking to take P2 for the first time in this race, and he's got the inside. He's able to get it stopped. It should be easily done. He stays in front of the McLaren, and now Big T versus Jonas. But what that little gap did, what that little battle did rather, was increase the gap and broke DRS to the leader. Sometimes a tough decision to make when you're in a DRS train like that. Do you stay behind one another in order to keep that DRS train together and keep the leader within arm's reach? If you're a little impatient, you want to make up the positions, you want to be the car in P2 challenging the leader. These three start to fight each other, start to go wheel to wheel. And once they've sorted everything out amongst themselves, they look up the road and go, oh darn, 2 seconds. Lap 8 of 29, Big T, Jonas, Spikes and Wheeze. Big T now starting to clear away at the front. With 4 cars at the front, those 3 well within DRS of the leader, but since that DRS has been broken, seeing Big T disappear up the road, the next 3 still very close together, Alpine, McLaren and the second Red Bull. Starting to see a few penalties collect now. They're all at the bottom of the timesheets. Top Gun, Cooper and Percival. "10-second penalty for Percival speeding in the pit lane. Came into the pits early on, just 7 laps on those tyres. Decided to start on the soft tyre. Not what you want. Speeding in the pit lane gets you that 10-second penalty, which you're going to have to serve at your next pit stop. If you have no next pit stop, it'll be added on to your race time. A little further back in P5, Skull has finally gotten past the roadblock that was Winterschloer. Now is he able to disappear, or will Winterschloer come back at him? And look at this, wheel to wheel. For a moment, it looked like the RB was going to take that position back. Then just tucked in behind the Williams, thought better of it. Got DRS, but so does everyone else behind him. Look at this. RB trying to line up a pass. The Sauber trying to line up a pass on the RB. It's complete madness. Side by side. Side by side again. I think there might have been a nick there on the tyres, but nothing serious. We didn't see any carbon fibre flying off, but that is fantastic racing. We're always looking at the front. We're always looking at the quickest guys. Every now and then we come back here to the midfield and we see some magic. So important to remember when you see overtakes like that, when you see driving like that. Can't just compliment the attacking driver. Gotta compliment the defending driver. You need two drivers to make that overtake happen. And if one of them's going to be stubborn about it, well, that overtake wouldn't have looked as nice. The only Ferrari in the field, P8, at the back of that DRS train. Further 3 seconds back, you'll find Skull. Got a whole handful of cars behind him as well. Skull and Andre, currently the last two cars in the points, 9 and 10. Would be a double points finish for the drivers sharing a household. Sharing a household, but not sharing a pit garage. Big T, spoke about him opening up the gap at the front, and now it's 3.1 seconds. We've got a caution in Sector 1. It's just the driver leaving the circuit. I don't see anyone stationary. We are back at full racing speed. Yellow flags are gone. Big T, Jonas. Just behind Jonas is Spikes. Spikes was in P2 for a long time in this race. Jonas eventually took that position away, and while they were squabbling over second place, it allowed Big T break DRS. And ever since then, he's been progressively getting further and further up the road. The more these three squabble for position, the more Big T will smile in his helmet. Looking at Skull, Winter Slower held up that position for such a long time, but now he's lost all sorts of positions. Look at that. Down now in P8, led that DRS train for a long time. Now he's at the back of what was that DRS train, and he's leading a new DRS train. Skull P9, Andre P10, right behind that RB, looking to pick up a few extra points this season, this round rather. This season, this round, I suppose it's the same. Second McLaren, we've seen so much of the first McLaren. Spikes in P4. Means he's actually lost another position, and we didn't see that. Spikes was in P2, lost that position to Jonas. Then P3, he's lost that position now to Wheeze. We have a Red Bull 1 and 3. Let's have a look at Wheeze. Here he is. Not only has he passed the McLaren, he's cleared him. So I wonder if that was a mistake. Yes, it was a mistake from Spikes. And now the top three all on the hard tyre. Spikes remains out. Let me know in the comment section if you guys have any idea when the medium runners will be coming into the pits. Of course, the soft runners came into the pits around about lap 7. Hard runners are going to be looking to go a lot further. But I'm starting to see pit stops. There's two of them. Sugar Bear into the pits to get rid of his mediums. Skull into the pits to get rid of his mediums. Surely going to go on to the hard tyre to finish this race. And they'll be hoping for no stoppages. Or will they be hoping for stoppages? If you're at the back, you're hoping for stoppages. If you're at the front, you're hoping to get on with it. Big T, 3 seconds. So he grew that gap up to 3 seconds, and he hasn't been able to take it too much beyond that. Jonas now matching the speed in P2, but he can't do much about closing that gap. That's the problem when you've got an opponent who's extremely quick. The only way you can match him is by driving on your absolute edge. And then somehow you're supposed to find even more time than that and close the gap. There's the man in P2. And the gaps have formed. Those top four so close together for such a long time now. Wee's down in P3, but a good 3 seconds away from Jonas. Spikes is coming to the pits. He's going for the soft compound. Surprising. Was that a mistake? Did the driver mean to do that? That would suggest a short stint in the middle of the race, taking him up to around about lap 20, lap 21. I don't see a scenario where those softs could go to the end, so he's going to have to make another pit stop. Maybe he is gambling on a safety car. We don't know. Virus, 12 laps on the hard. Hard tyres not yet done their job. Still a few medium runners out there. 12 laps for Winterschloer and Andre, the two RBs. And this can be a tricky situation now for the RBs. Winterschloer P4, Andre P5. You can see the two RBs, they're in the same frame. They're less than 1 second apart. They're on the same strategy. They both started on the medium, so hopefully those drivers are in communication. One of them's going to have to pit first. They're going to have to make the decision. A double stack could seriously cost that second driver. Surely one of these two RBs will peel off into the pits. The question is which one? Do they both stay out? One comes into the pits. The other one carries on. Andre stays out. Car ahead, the teammate ahead, does get the option of who pits first. I think if Winterschloer had carried on straight, Andre would have dived into the pits. He decides to stay out one extra lap. One extra lap, whatever time he may lose on these medium tyres, couldn't be anything worse than the time he would lose in a double stack. Of course, if your teammate is 3 or 4 seconds up the road, well, then you can attempt it. But when they're in the same frame, it's always suicide for one of the cars. Andre decides to stay out, and now coming under pressure from Virus. On a set of 13-lap-old hard tyres. As for the drivers out front, Jonas continues chipping away at that gap. I believe at its largest, that gap was 3.2 seconds, so he has brought it down to 2.4 seconds. Chipping away at the gap. Big T will have those same times we have on our screen. He'll be able to see Jonas getting quicker and quicker and quicker, and the gap coming down. And we have the second Red Bull. Getting a lot of support in the comment section. Wheeze. 4.9 seconds adrift from the Alpine in P2. Spike sets the fastest lap of the race. That's to be expected. Fresh set of softs. Those teammates are definitely in communication because they're on very different strategies. Spikes gets passed up into P4. But an entire 18 seconds adrift from the next 3 cars. Of course, those 3 still need to pit. Lap 15 of 29, we've just gone over halfway distance. No safety cars, no rain, no real damage, no drama at Bahrain. Plain sailing on lap 15. I assure you, if you want to change that, you just need to throw me in the midfield and I'll take out half the field. Spikes, fastest lap of the race again, a 1:31. Fastest lap after fastest lap, throwing everything at it and enjoying those soft tyres while he can. Big T, Jonas, Wheeze, all on aging tyres. Of course, when you do that, I always believe you feel the very worst of the car. You start on the hard tyre with the least amount of grip, with a heavy fuel tank. The car's going to feel absolutely terrible for those first few laps. The fuel will begin to come off. The car will get lighter, start to feel more nimble. And by the time you come in to get rid of those hard tyres, you've got a light car and a soft compound or a medium compound of tyre on that car. You can just throw it around for the remaining laps of the race and the car's going to feel great, because you've already felt it at its worst. Problem with starting on that hard tyre is if you get an early safety car, everyone on the softer compounds comes in and you get stuck on track, out of sync. By 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Don't know where I came up with a 5-second penalty, but 3-second penalty for Percival, one of the two Haas drivers. Haas not having a round 2 they would want to remember, currently down in 16 and 17. So impressive. 17 laps, no retirements. Caution in sector 2. In fact, the whole track is lit up and we didn't get the notification. Our game is broken. Spectator mode is broken. We didn't get the notification. It says on your screen, caution in sector 2. I said it was plain sailing. Commentator's curse strikes again. We are under full safety car conditions. We are under full safety car conditions, but I can't see anybody retiring from this race. Seems like everybody is on the move, so I'm not sure what triggered the safety car. What triggered the safety car isn't important. What is important is we're under safety car conditions. The top 3, they should now be able to get a free pit stop, essentially. Might just have to stretch those medium tyres maybe a lap or 2 longer than they would have liked. Of course, what this does do now for the race is going to bring this entire field back together. So not only will those top 3 maintain their positions, I believe they had a 20-second gap over the rest of the field. So they'll come out 1, 2, 3 as they went into the pits. But at that restart, well, they're going to have everybody else behind them yet again. Of course, we saw 4 cars at the start of the race, very, very close in pace. That was Virus, Wheeze, Jonas, and Big T. They were eventually separated after a couple of laps. Those 4 drivers are able to take the step up and match each other again in the final stint. Then indeed, it's race on. If Big T takes the victory and manages to find the fastest lap, then that would be the Grand Slam. Pole position, fastest lap, race victory, and every lap led. Jan saying, reading this message a little late, but Jan saying, come on Wheeze, you're losing time. Well, this is the perfect scenario for Wheeze. He was losing a bit of time going backwards. Now this will give him a blank slate, a new opportunity to be able to see his teammate right up the road. And hopefully this time around they've learned from their mistakes. If Big T exits turn 1 in the lead, you cannot let him get up the road. You've got to stay with that Red Bull. You've got to stay within his DRS. The moment you fall out of that DRS, it becomes very difficult to match those lap times. Again, the Alpine going offline. Jonas has been doing that the entire race. Frustratingly slow for all of these drivers. They want to be doing 300 kilometers an hour around this circuit. They don't want to be driving around an Aston Martin at what they would say is slow speed. Most of these cars still approaching turn 1 at 90 k's an hour, but in Formula 1 terms, that's a snail's pace. (19 of 29). Soon we will be in the single digits with the laps remaining. Big T getting oh so close to that safety car, almost going up the inside of the safety car there. Racing driver's instinct is to go fast. This is not what you want to be doing. Of course, we've also seen drivers trip over each other behind the safety car. We've also seen drivers lose races behind the safety car. So important not to pick up any penalties under the safety car or at that safety car restart. That could result in a 10-second penalty, or rather a drive-through penalty, which would effectively destroy your race with just 9 laps to go. Another lap behind the safety car. Lengthy safety car, but still 2 cars at the rear of the field. In fact, 3 cars at the rear of the field. I believe that is Skull emerging from the pits. The Skull has taken a gamble. Obviously the race not going the way he would have liked, so comes into the pits under safety car, straps on a brand new set of soft tyres. Going to be the only driver in the field with a set of soft tyres. Would only have 8 or 9 laps to do, so it will be a little bit of a stretch. We saw the drivers who started on softs, they pit round about lap 7. So Skull is going to be looking to do 7 or 8 laps on those tyres. Let's see if that works out. We'll have the fastest set of tyres on the circuit. Should help him come through the field and hopefully back up into the points. Drivers now waiting for the notification. Waiting to find out that the safety car is going to pull off into the distance and free them all. There it is, safety car in this lap. Message from race control. And immediately the Red Bull jumps off the throttle, starts to back up the field. You want that Aston Martin to disappear down the road and into the pits, and when it does, then Big T takes control of the race. Becomes the temporary safety car. He decides when the race gets started, and there can be no overtaking till that start-finish line. Important to be on your toes at the restart. We saw what happened to Lando Norris last week in Baku. Just find himself absolutely napping at the restart. You can see Big T just playing with the rest of the field, taking it right up to the line and then accelerating away. And look at that. What a way to get things started. 1 second gap into turn 1. Jonas P2, Wheeze P3, Spikes P4, and Virus P5. One of those McLarens was on a set of soft tyres. He has been able to come in, get rid of those softs, put on a set of mediums, which means he's now there on merit. Ride with Big T, who just lit up Sector 1 in purple. All of these cars now on fresh tyres, much lighter fuel tanks than what they would have had at the start of the race. Big T, Jonas, Wheeze, Spikes, Virus, Smurf, all of those drivers, 3-lap-old medium tyres. Remember, 2 of those laps were under safety car. These tyres will be as fresh as can be. Skull has made up positions at the back. He's up to P12 on that set of soft tyres. Let's go to the back of the field and have a look at that Sauber. Right now, he's going to be having the time of his life. All the grip he asks for, those soft tyres will provide. But not for long. Softer the tyre, the quicker the tyre, but also quicker the tyre goes off. Skull P12 not far from the points. Tarmac is running out. And look at this. Just in time, we join the 2 RBs. Andre makes the overtake on Winterschloer. There we go, looking at the rear wing of Andre. 4-lap-old hard tyres. Now behind Skull, that's the next driver up the road, but he's on fresh soft, and that was that. I didn't see who that was. Somebody going off just in front of Skull. I think that car was ghosting, if I'm not mistaken. It may have been Cooper. That may have been Cooper, a lap down. We have 1 DNF. I think that was the Sauber we saw going off circuit. It may have been Percival. I'm certain it was. I think it was. Yeah, it was definitely a Haas. At the front, Big T remains the leader. 0.4 of a second is the gap. I said you can't let him break the RS at the start. Gap was 1 second into turn 1, which means Jonas has done a fantastic job of pulling that back. Gap is 0.5 of a second. He's still very much in this race. He's in P3. He can see the 2 ahead of him. If there's any sort of action, if there's any sort of tyre banging, he's going to be there to take that position. Jonas sticks a nose out to the right. Reminds Big T he's there. He needs no reminder. The driver's going to do it each and every single time. '23 of 29. Red Bull 1, Alpine 2, and then Red Bull 3. Then we've got the pair of McLarens. One of those McLarens was at the rear of the field earlier on in the race. And now 4 and 5. Because a safety car came out at a very opportune time. If I'm not mistaken, it was Spikes at the rear of the field. He then came in, put on a set of soft tyres, made up a good few positions in the midfield. Safety car then came out, which means he could go get rid of those soft tyres, put on a set of mediums, and hold on to the position. He would have had to make one more pit stop, would have found himself towards the rear of the field. Luckily, sometimes that safety car messes up your race, other times it hands you a race. Top 3 in a race of their own. McLaren's 4 and 5, but out of touch. That's the closest we've seen. That's the closest we've seen. Maybe there's been closer, but I think that's the closest we've seen on the broadcast so far. The Alpine right on the back. Looked like he was going to make the overtake and then decided against it at the last moment. Jonas weaving aggressively. Showing intent. Wheeze completely unfazed. Best seat in the house right now, P3. But also a very difficult place to be. The laps are coming down and you need to decide, what am I going to do? Am I going to follow the Alpine? Am I going to wait for them to have a little battle and take advantage? Or am I going to take this into my own hands, get past the Alpine and challenge my teammate for the victory? That's the choices Wheeze will have to make. First things first, Red Bull would want a 1-2 as a team. They don't really care which one finishes in first and which one finishes in second. They'd love a 1-2. The Alpine's not going to let that happen. Staying in between. Will it come from a mistake? Or will it come from a moment of brilliance? Lap 25 of 29. Quiet, quiet, quiet in the comment section. Let me know if you're still there. Say something in the comment section. How's the race been so far? 25 of 29. And again goes to the inside and then tucks in behind the Red Bull. Lots and lots of side by side, and we haven't seen these top drivers make any contact yet. That is the level of driving ability. Not only are they driving on the absolute limit, they're keeping it clean. Driving quick is one thing. Driving properly is quite another. And they're doing both perfectly. There we go. There's some activity from the comment section. So I feel a little better knowing I'm not just talking to myself. Hope everyone's enjoying the race. Top 4, they've been saying very close together. Spikes has fallen off. All about the top 3. Big T, Jonas and Wheeze. 2 Red Bulls versus an Alpine. Are they going to be able to bully that Alpine out of P2 and take a 1-2? Or is the Alpine going to snatch it from both Red Bulls? Could also have a situation where Wheeze, the second Red Bull, hasn't led a single lap in the race. Could take on the victory. As close as they've been throughout the race. Big T even opened up that gap of 3 seconds. They found each other at the end. And regardless of what came before, this is what will determine your result. Just 3 laps to go. Doesn't matter if you've led the entire race. If you lose the lead around the final corner, well, no one's going to remember. You finished second. Nobody cares how you finished second. They just remember you finished second. If they remember you finished second, most people remember just the winner. Percival picking up another. I'm just going to keep calling him that. I like saying that. Percival. Percival. That's a good name, Percival. I cannot be blamed if you do not provide me with the proper pronunciation for your name prior to the race if you have a crazy name. So, Winterschloer, I'm not even sure if I'm saying that properly. Percival, I'm not sure if I'm saying that properly. As for everyone else, been commentating long enough that if I am getting those names wrong, well, they've accepted it for far too long. Two RBs. Inseparable. We saw Andre going ahead of Winterschloer not so long ago. Now Andre, the RB behind. These two just trading positions, and unfortunately for both of them, trading positions outside of the points. Driver to take note of is Skull, currently in the points, P9, but remember he came in under that last safety car, put on a fresh set of soft tyres. He came from outside the top 10. Those soft tyres did get him into the points, but will they last? That is the question. Murph will be in P10. We'll be looking at that and thinking, if those tyres fall off a cliff, that position's mine. We's now starting to fall adrift from the top two, and look at this, Jonas wheel to wheel. We join just in time. Look at that for a view. Red Bull stays in front. Lap 28 of 29, Jonas. Now, he's been able to stay there. He's been able to match him, but now the lap time, rather the tarmac, is getting less and less. The corners are getting less and less, and the move needs to be made. 28 of 29. Will the overtake happen? Will it happen into turn one? Surely there's going to be an attempt. He's been looking at the rear of that Red Bull for 28 laps. Now he opens up DRS. How close does he get? Wee's 1.1 seconds back, so he won't be getting any DRS. And if you can just dip into, yes, he has 0.8 of a second for Weeze, so they should all have one touch of DRS on the final lap, one last attempt. 0.7 back. I feel Weeze may be too far back to take a dive on P2, but we know Jonas is very much up to par to taking P1. We saw him go wheel to wheel last time we got to turn one. What's he going to do this time around? He's going to open up DRS. It's all about battery management. How much battery has Big T saved? Seems like he saved just enough. All of the DRS, and the Alpine still couldn't get near the Red Bull into turn one. I think that Big T might have just managed his battery perfectly. Means you open up your DRS and you expect to be sucked in. You expect to have this amazing acceleration. And turns out, you open DRS, you do make up ground, but not the sort of ground you wanted to make up, and that's because the car ahead of you has a whole lot of battery to use. Look at that, Big T. Over 75% on lap 29 of 29. That's battery management. Can save you in a race. Seeing how close that Alpine was and how aggressive that Alpine was. And then just had nothing left at the end. That's one driver running out of battery one lap too early. Not much more can be said. Big T done everything that needed to be done. Took the fastest lap for pole position. Led the race. And every single lap in it. Jonas, fantastic job. Not so much at the end as he goes into the wall. Destroys his Alpine. I don't know how his mechanics are going to feel about that. Squeeze over the line in P3. The two McLarens 4 and 5. Sugar Bear P6. Pantry Star, he's going to take P7. Skull P8. I think that's down to some penalties. Lebby P9, and Skulk will pick up the final point here on round 2. Percival on debut goes over the line, claim P16, and drives past the stricken Alpine of Jonas. Let's go through your results real quick. Of course, race winner goes to Big T. Fastest lap goes to Jonas. Then we've got driver of the day, Lebby. Most overtakes Andre, cleanest driver, virus. Big T wins the race, Jonas P2, also the fastest lap of the race, then Wheeze P3, the two Red Bulls, fantastic round for them. Fantastic round for the two McLarens as well, 4 and 5. Sugar Bear had to maximize, he was the only Ferrari here tonight, and he did, P6. Then the pair of Kicksalbers, 7 and 8, Lebby P9, and Skulk takes the final point. No points for Smurf P11, Harsh Cartoon P12, then the two RBs of Entree and Winterschloer, Top Gun and Percival. And the one DNF went the way of Cooper. And folks, there you have it. That is another round of SKR, done and dusted. Season 13, we had round 1 last week. We got going in Baku. We're already into round 2. And of course, on Tuesday night, well, I was about to say on Tuesday night, we're going to do it all again, but that's not right, is it? On Tuesday night, we will be having a mystery circuit. Let's see if I can bring that up for you. Hopefully I don't mess anything up. Let me just see, where are my thumbnails? Like I say, if I mess this up, I do apologize. But let's see if I can bring it up for you. On Tuesday, we'll be doing that. There we go. SAFRL on Tuesday. And your 4 tracks that will be available to choose from are going to be Monaco, Miami, China, and Japan. Of course, that poll will go up on Monday night. So Monday night, sometime after 8 p.m., I will put up a poll for Monaco, Miami, China, and Japan. And then obviously you all, the viewers of NFR, and of course the drivers and anybody else who wants to come into the channel, put in their vote and decide where we will be racing for Season 13, Round 2 of SAFRL. Venue not decided, again, those options, Monaco, Miami, China, and Japan. That poll will go up on Monday night. I want to thank you all for joining us. I want to thank Wheeze as well, Big T as well, rather. Big T sent in that video that we watched before the race, the Apex Hot Lap video. Of course, if we have any more of those videos, we will put them on the channel and give you all an idea of what the guys at the top are doing a little different. I'm going to leave you all with a little bit of music. I'm going to say goodbye, and I will see you all on Tuesday night. Remember, the poll will be up on Monday night, so you can go look for the video on Monday night. You can vote in the poll, and then on Tuesday, we'll find out where we'll be. Until next time, everyone, thank you very much, and cheers.
The track turns wild, split-second moves, adrenaline's child. Podium dreams, they come and go, fast and fierce, it's all we know. Yellow flow flags, heartbreaks near, but we push on, we have no fear. Sundays at 6, where the league begins. Oh yeah, highs and lows, where we chase our wins. Through the curves, through the fight, SKR, we own the night. 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 We own the night.
Is that real sweat? It's real sweat. I'm a high performance athlete. Athletes sweat. Sweat, baby. Sweat, sweat.
You've got a fire burning in the dark where your dreams collide. They'll tell you to stop, say the road's too long, but your heart keeps beating to a rebel song. Take a step, don't look below. Every scar's a story, only you will know. The weight of the world can't break your stride. You're carving your name where the stars reside. When the shadows call, when the nights grow cold, you'll find the strength in the tales untold. You can rise to the sky, touch the edge of the flame, write your heart in the light, let the world know your name. No chains can hold you, no storms too wide. You're a legend in the making when you rise to the sky. The ground may shake, but your roots run deep. Every fall you take is a promise you keep. The doubters will fade, their voices will break, 'cause your soul's on fire and it's yours to take. Run through the rain, chase the endless fight. Every dream you claim lights a spark in the night. The horizon's calling, it's yours to claim. A warrior's heart with a fearless flame. When the shadows call, when the nights grow cold, you'll find the strength in the tales untold. You can rise to the sky, touch the edge of the flame, write your heart in the light, let the world know your name. No chains can hold you, no storms too wide. You're a legend in the making when you rise to the sky. Stand tall when the thunder roars, break the locks, kick down the doors. Every step is a battle won, your story's just begun. Oh, let it soar, forevermore, forevermore. You can rise to the sky, touch the edge of the flame, write your heart in the light, let the world know your name. No chains can hold you, no storms too wide. You're a legend in the making when you rise to the sky. So keep on climbing, don't ever slow. The stars are waiting where the brave ones go. You'll rise to the sky. Yeah, you'll rise to the sky. A legend in the making till the end of time.